Hello YouTube, get ready to transcend Yu-Gi-Oh! So today for you guys I have a deck that revolves around this card right here, the Fabled Unicore. Now what this card does is, while you and your opponent have the same number of cards in hand, you can, or all their effects are negated, all of your opponent's effects. The ruling on this, actually, it even negates counter traps, which I found interesting. But yeah, this card's insane once you get it out. So what this deck does is it gets the Unicore out, tries to protect it, and manipulates your hand so its effect goes off. So I'm just going to get right into it. First thing we're going to cover is the ways you get Unicore out. By the way, as always, the deck list is in the description, so if you don't want to hear an in-depth analysis of all these cards, then don't bother. Just go to the deck list. But for those of you who care, I'm playing 3 the Fabled Cerburrel. It's a level 2 tuner, beast type. When it's discarded, special summon it. Fableds run off of discarding themselves to special summon and special summon. So basically, you get the Fabled Cerburrel in combination with the Fabled Nozoochee. It's a level 2 beast type non-tuner. You can discard one Fabled monster to special summon this card from your hand. In addition, when you do, you get to special summon another level 2 or lower Fabled monster from your hand. You generally don't use the second effect, but basically, if you pull Nozoochee and Cerburrel, what you do is you use Nozoochee's effect, discard the Fabled Cerburrel to special summon Nozoochee. Now the Fabled Cerburrel will then special summon itself from the grave, because Fableds have mandatory discard effects, so rather than like Shaddolls and Dark Worlds and whatnot, they will go off when cost is declared. So yeah. So basically you do that. Then since the Fabled Unicore is a level 4 Synchro, you just tune them together and there you go. So that's combo number 1. Now for the second 2-card Unicore. You got 2 the Fabled Ganashia. This guy's kind of similar to the Fabled Cerburrel, but what he does, he's a level 3 beast non-tuner. When he's discarded, special summon him. He also gains 200 attack and is banished when he leaves the field. But yeah, so you use that in combination with the Fabled Chawa, which is a lot like the Fabled Nozoochee, only is a level 1 beast tuner. So what the Fabled Chawa does is you just discard one Fable to special summon him. There's no extra effect on top of that. But yeah, so it's 1 plus 3 equals 4. So there you go. The only reason I don't play 3 Ganashia is because it is not a target for this card right here, Obedience Schooled. Now what Obedience Schooled does, for those of you who don't know, special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast type monsters from your deck while you control the monsters. No, it doesn't say in defense position. Their effects are negated and they're destroyed in the end phase. You can't special summon monsters except beast type monsters for the rest of the turn. And since the Fabled Unicore is a beast, you're all good. So basically what you do is you activate this card, you special summon. I like to generally go for Nozoochee, Chawa, Cerburrel, and Chawa. Then you synchro these 2, and then you just kind of have a Chawa laying around. I go for Chawa rather than, I don't know. I go for those just so that I can get an easy Unicore. I believe you do play other targets, but not my style. Yeah, you play this target right here, but this card's actually really good, and I'll go over why later. So yeah, you just synchro for Unicore, and then you'll have a Chawa on the field till the end phase. But yeah, this card is a 1-card Unicore, which is crazy good because you definitely like controlling your hand, and this is one of the cards that does it really well. However, it is a bit conditional because you can only do it while you have no monsters out, so I do only play it at 2. One card, another card that I get that definitely helps getting Unicore out is Ayers Rock Sunrise. You special summon 1 beast type monster from your grave, then your opponent's monsters lose attack, blah blah blah, whatever. Mainly, it special summons a beast from your grave. So that can be your Unicore itself. It can be your Chawa, your Nozoochee, anything you want. So that card's actually crazy good in this deck. It's basically just a reborn. So now we're getting into the cards that kind of manipulate your hand size. So first off, I'm just going to start off by saying you actually want to be able to neg during your opponent's turn in this deck, because that's the main way they're going to get around your Unicore. They're going to set some stuff, then they're going to play out. so that their hand size is different. So what you do is you play a ton of hand traps, basically. So you play 2 DD Crow. I was actually playing Max C in place of this for a while, but then by doing that, you're basically giving them the okay to just go ahead and special summon. So I stopped doing that. 2 DD Crow works a lot better because it does control their grave, and it controls hand, and it just generally works a lot better. I play 2 effect failures for the same reason. One honest, I decided to classify as this. All the Fableds are light monsters, so honest is just good. It decreases your hand size by 1. It's a little conditional, but it's also honest, so I don't really feel too bad. Next one is Dark World Dealings. When you play this, you -1, and you get to use a Fabled effect, so always good, always good. So next up, you play 1 Divine Wrath. I discard 1 card, there you go. And 1 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Same reason. You could play, honestly, any mixture of these guys and Raigeki Break. Honestly, it doesn't really matter, just as long as you are able to discard. Next up, for the just kind of general support cards, I play 2 Fabled Kushano. He's a level 3 Fiend Tuner. When this card is in your graveyard, you can discard 1 Fabled monster, except the Fabled Kushano, to add this from the grave to your hand. So basically, that just gets off any Fabled effect that you may need at that time. Which is definitely a valuable thing to have. It sticks around once it gets in your grave. Now to get out the Fabled Kushano, you play 2 Tour Guides. I don't think I really need to explain this one too much. Yeah, most of you guys probably know this pretty well. Next up, you play 3 Fabled Grimro. While you control a face-up Fabled monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 Fabled monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah. Enough said, really. It's your searcher of the deck. It doesn't manipulate hand size just because it does search for 1 after you go for it. But either way, it can actually be a Synchro material. That's how I do it a lot of times. But yeah, this card's just overall amazing. It gets you anything you want, which is phenomenal. You play 3 Fabled Krus. When this card is discarded, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Fabled monster in your graveyard, hence Grimro. You activate the Fabled Chawa with this and Grimro engrave, and you actually end up with an instant level 5 because Krus will target Grimro and then you just Synchro. But yeah, this card's great. Now the other beast type I mentioned earlier, it's you would play 3 of the Fabled Catsith. A lot of people only play 1 or 2. I think that's a horrible idea, frankly. What this card does, it's a level 1 tuner, although you don't really use it for its level or its tuner, usually. When it's discarded, you can when it's discarded, target 1 face-up monster on the field, or 1 face-up card on the field, sorry guys, and destroy it. So, basically, one of the things you can do with this deck, you can essentially clear out your opponent's entire board if you have 1 of these 2 cards and a Catsith in hand. It's just amazing. Plus, it can just combo with Kushano if you need to. It can combo with Dark World Dealings, anything. It's just a really good card, guys. Very, very underrated. I don't know why more people don't. Really respect it. But, yeah. Then you play 2 Beckoning Light because it discards and all your monsters are light. So, there you go. And for the last card, I play 1 Dark Hole. It's gonna be Raigeki as soon as I find one. But, yeah, if you have a Raigeki, play it. If not, then Dark Hole works. Or, you know, actually another Phoenix Wing Wind Blast would be just as good, frankly. So, yeah. So that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. First of all, the level 4 Synchros. I play 1 Armory Arm to boost up your 3 Fabled Unicore. Obviously, Fabled Unicore is the deck. I already talked about what this guy does, so I don't think I really need to describe it anymore. Armory Arm, though, it's a generic level 4 Synchro. You equip it to something, it gains 1,000 attack, and it gets extra damage effect, I believe. But yeah, the one disadvantage about the Fabled Unicore is it's really squishy. It's a 2300, so just being able to get Armory Arm and boost up to 3300, that's fantastic. So yeah, now for level 5s, you play 1 Ally of Justice Catastor and 1 Fabled Ragin. What Fabled Ragin does, he requires a Fabled Tuner. When he's Synchro Summoned, if you have less than 2 cards in your hand, draw until you have 2 cards in your hand. He's one of the very, very few cards in the deck that'll actually allow you to plus. yeah, occasionally you need them. I find myself not usually going for level 5, and when I do, it's usually Catastor. But, you know, different situations call for different things. I have had my opponent have a hand size of 2, and I was, like, out of cards, so I just kind of went for him and then got my hand size back up. Now, for your only level 6, you play one HTS Psyhemuth. You can replace it with a Yugioh if you want to. I personally just prefer this. I don't know, I'm weird. Now for level 7 Synchros, you play one Black Rose Dragon, and you play one Michael the Arch-Lightsworn. For those of you who don't know, this guy just requires a light non-tuner, so there are quite a few of those in this deck. If you need to, you can even use the Fabled Unicore to summon him. But what he does, you can pay 1,000 life points to banish one card on the field. He does mill in the end phase, but generally when I play him, I find a way to synchro with him before that happens, because this deck really doesn't like milling. So yeah, those are my 2 level 7s. For your 1 level 8, you play Stardust Spark Dragon. It protects your Unicore. Again, you generally don't make 8, but when you do, it's helpful. Now, you do play one Mistworm. It's just one of my personal favorites. It can easily be replaced with like a Crimson Blader. I know the two are not even remotely similar, but Crimson Blader does work pretty well in this deck too. I just took it out because I don't know, I just didn't think that I had enough room for it anymore. So I do play one Mistworm, just for the versatility. One Fabled Leviathan. It's a level 10 Synchro. All it requires is a Fabled tuner. When he's destroyed and sent to the grave, you can add up to 3 Fabled monsters from your grave back to the hand, including himself. So you could potentially get this guy out however many times you want in a duel. So yeah, it's a good card, good card. One Star Eater, because it's a Star Eater, I don't know. Now for your 2 rank 3s, for your tour guides, you play one Zenmaines and one number 17 Leviathan Dragon. This can also be a Alucard, but I like this one because it's more guaranteed. Like if you go first or something, you can detach your Kushano and get it in grave, and just make plays. That's the reason I play this. It's this or Alucard though, because you don't want to mill with Dante. I'm trying to think of other decent level 3s, like Fortune Tune, that's just a Zenmaines. But yeah. So that's the deck, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I've definitely enjoyed playing it. So, yeah, please leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. If there are any other tech cards that you think that I would enjoy playing or that you plan on playing in the deck in the future, just comment them down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Transcend Yu-Gi-Oh! Out.